Welcome back to the channel, Thug Watches. Today we have so many exciting news. I know I've been super horrible on the YouTube thing, but I'm gonna start grinding a little bit more, and that officially starts today. I'm gonna try my best to upload once a week. I've said that countless times, but now we have so much amazing content. We have so many amazing parts, and we're gonna build something very cool, and I wanna document it for YouTube. And that is the fact that we are going to be twin turboing my Silverado. But before we twin turbo our Silverado, we have to build an engine that is going to hopefully make us 500 horsepower. That's what I want. It might make more, it might make less. As you can see, I already started. I did this off camera. I bought an LS engine off Facebook Marketplace and I took it apart, and now we're gonna put it back together, and I kind of want to show you guys everything that I'm going to be doing. Also, for the twin turbo, you guys don't have to wait much longer because I already have the kit. I have everything. We have a twin turbo kit, we have an engine, and we have everything to build the engine. And I'm taking you guys for the ride. This whole video is just putting this engine back together so we can start the twin turbo build and make a freaking monster. As you can see by my dirty floor, we pretty much already have everything ready to go. We're gonna throw a Texas Speed Stage 2 Turbo Cam. That is here. We have the Texas Speed titanium springs. Those are going in LS7 lifters. We have the push rods, the timing chain, the head gaskets, the head bolts. We practically have everything, and we're gonna start by throwing the camshaft into the engine. We're just gonna get right into this. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install the cam, and we're gonna use this assembly lube. If you don't know this, you need to coat the cam with a whole bunch of lube because you definitely don't wanna start the engine with a dry camshaft. You're gonna ruin everything, honestly. So we're gonna lube the camshaft, and then we're gonna throw it in. Now that the cam is open, we're gonna literally lube it like crazy. Go crazy. Like, there's nothing wrong with this whatsoever. It's just gonna make sure that this thing is super lubricated on the first start and that nothing fails. So, this stuff is so sticky too. Now let's put the cam inside. You might have to wiggle it a little bit. Be very careful and gentle, and just take your time like so. And turn it so it goes in. Just be very careful. And just like that, the cam is in. It's literally so easy. This is the first time ever doing this on my own. And if you look on the top of the engine, you can actually see the cam as I spin it. Look at that. Dude, that is so sick. We now have a turbo cam on the 5.3. Now that the cam is finally installed, that was actually the easiest process of them all. We're gonna get the lifters ready to go as well. I've heard from countless people, and last time I built my last engine, I did the same thing. But when it comes to lifters, everyone recommends that you actually soak them in oil for about 24 hours. These are LS7 style lifters. We're gonna put them in a bucket with oil and just let them sit for tomorrow, because that's what I've been recommended by everyone to do. So let's get started. We're gonna waste a lot of oil, but it is what it is. You just have to do it like this. There we go, that should be good enough. Next, you simply dump these in there. The lifters need to be soaked in oil. I might have to put a little bit of oil more in there, but pretty much that's all we're gonna do. We're gonna let them sit for about 24 hours. They kind of have a little bit of air. You can see the air coming out of them too. So your job is just to soak them to the point where they're just covered in oil. They're all lubricated. This is the next day, and we're gonna keep building on the 5.3. We actually had to stop because one, I was missing lifter trays, and two, I really can't do anything else. So we're gonna drive off to the machine shop. We're gonna drop the heads off. We're gonna get them resurfaced, as well as have them install my brand new springs and retainers and everything like that. So let's drive out to the machine shop and let's drop everything off. Now that everything is kind of left where it should be, I have everything at the machine shop. So soon enough, we'll get a call. They said anywhere from 2 to 3 days. I kind of want to show you guys the twin turbo kit. Boom. Less excitement, I guess. But yes, I'm dead serious. This build is going to be crazy sick. Probably the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. We have the twin turbos already set up. We have the intercooler, manifolds. We have the whole kit. So everything is here to kind of twin turbo this engine that I'm building. One other thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go with a Mexican flag theme. So everything on the passenger side is going to be green. Everything in the middle is going to be powder coated white. Everything on the driver's side is going to be powder coated red. We're also painting the truck red. We're going to have someone engrave an eagle on my intake manifold that I plan on ordering very soon. and this thing is gonna come out crazy sick. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna just package everything so we can take it to the powder coater sometime later this week. All the green stuff's gonna go in this box, all the red stuff's gonna go in that box, and all the white stuff's gonna go in that box, and we're gonna drop it off. But yeah, boys, we officially have a twin turbo kit as well. Just wanted to give you guys a little update and show you that I'm not kidding. This truck's gonna be crazy sick. So now, let's just package everything and have it ready to go. I cannot make this up. When I say that I'm gonna go crazy fast in this truck, I mean it. I just got a call from the transmission shop as well. A couple weeks ago, I actually dropped off a 4L80 to get built because I kind of planned this out. We have everything happening because I kind of planned things out. So we have the turbo kit, we're building the engine, and I just picked up my built transmission. Let me show it to you. Boom, right in the kiss. Dude, what am I doing? My first ever truck. This thing is going to have a built transmission, a built engine, twin turbos. I am going insane. So I did have this one built at White's Racing Transmissions in Sebring, Florida. This thing is completely redone. Everything in the inside is new. The wiring harness is new. The oil pan is new. Literally, this thing looks brand freaking new. It ran me $1,900. I provided the parts. It also has a shift kit and everything, so this thing's gonna shift amazing. And she's ready to throw on the vehicle. This thing is absolutely beautiful. You can see we really haven't done much in the last day or so, which for you guys is a couple seconds. But we finally got everything that we need, including our high pressure oil pump. We have our timing chain cover, and we have our lifter trace right here. So now we can finally get back to the engine. Let's start putting it back together. One of the most important parts that I'm actually gonna throw on this engine is this Melling high pressure oil pump. Because I'm going to be running or feeding oil to two turbos, I decided to rock a high pressure pump. We need more oil flow through the engine, and this is definitely gonna be a nice little upgrade. So let me show you the part number. Here it is. If you guys want to get this high pressure pump, here's the part number for that. Now let's actually start throwing it on and start putting things back together. Installing these oil pumps on these LS engines is actually super easy. The first thing you're going to do is actually lay it on the crank like so, and you're going to rotate it until it kind of clicks in place and goes all the way on. So this might take a little bit, but essentially you're just rotating. There we go. We rotated it in place. Now we're good to go. At this point, you're gonna grab your bolts for the oil pump and you're just gonna thread them on there hand tight. Do not go crazy, do not tighten them, do not torque them. You just need to put them on hand tight. So I'm gonna kind of thread them in all the way with my hand as much as I can. This might take a little bit, but like I said again, do not torque it, hand tight. As for the final step, now that these are actually hand tight, we're gonna spin the crank 360 degrees. So just keep spinning it for 360 degrees. Oh, I did a little bit too much. Let's do it again. I kind of want the timing mark to be up. There we go. Now we're good to go. And finally, you simply torque this to 18 foot-pounds. So nothing crazy. There we go. That's it. That is it. Now it's time we throw the lifters on. I already threw one. Let's do the rest of them. Let me show you how easy it is to build this engine. I also have brand new lifter trays. Whenever installing lifters, always get new trays. It is not that difficult, and it's just gonna ensure that nothing's gonna go wrong with your new build. These were literally like 20 bucks for 4. So now let's throw the lifters on these things and let's throw it back on the engine. Before actually installing the lifter onto the tray, what you need to do is actually turn the lifter around. You're gonna see a little hole on the lifter. When installing the lifters, just remind yourself these holes have to point to the other lifter. So for example, let me throw this one in. The hole is right there. So look at this. There we go. It's pointing forward, as you can see here. So now we're gonna grab another lifter, find the hole. Here it is. And just make sure that the holes point at each other. That's all you have to do. So now, if I bring this over here, you will notice there's one hole there, there's one hole there. They're pointing right at each other. So just do that for all of them. And when you finish, all you have to do is put them back inside the engine
This might be a little hard, but nicely tap them into place. Like so, it is on, we are good. And finally, all you have to do is torque the lifter trays to 9 foot-pounds. There we go, nothing crazy, we are good. We now have all the lifter trays, and this thing is ready to kind of keep going. Now we're gonna keep moving on with the front of the engine. Next is this retainer plate. I was actually just waiting on this, and we just got it in the mail. This retainer plate actually holds the cam in place, and it keeps everything pressurized, so the oil pressure is high enough for this engine. So first thing I'm gonna do is simply install it. This one's just a couple bolts, so let's throw it on. Beautiful. Now we can finally install our cam gear as well, so let's go get that from our parts over there, and let's throw it up. Cam gear is now on, everything's aligned, and this engine is finally starting to look like an engine. Dude, this is getting close. So I actually also ended up putting my oil pickup as well. That was very, very easy. We connected it to the oil pump, and now we are ready to move on to the next step, which is putting a front timing chain cover on this engine. Specifically, I'm gonna go with this one right here, which comes with 2 bungs for the oil returns for the turbos. So we're gonna throw this onto the engine, which is going to make it look a little bit more complete. And just like that, boys, the engine cover is finally on. And if we take these little covers off, you will notice we have 2 bungs for the twin turbo returns, so we can actually feed or return the oil back to the engine through the timing chain cover now. And this thing looks absolutely ridiculous. Tomorrow's mission is to also drill and tap the oil pan, because we're gonna put some bungs on that one, because this setup is gonna change quite a lot, and I definitely don't wanna do this more than once. Whatever bungs I decide not to use, we're just gonna cap them off, and it should be good to go. So regardless, this thing is starting to look really, really nice. Dude, that is sick. It's the next day, and today we're gonna finish the rest of this engine, and we should have a full built, I guess, semi-built 5.3 for my truck. Today's mission is to actually throw the heads back on. The only thing that I'm currently waiting on is for my friend Ricardo to come help me, because if you guys don't know, torquing down an LS is not as simple as most other cars, because you really don't have a torque number. The only thing you have to do is you torque it, and then you have to angle them, and it actually takes a little bit of math to actually torque these properly. So we're currently waiting on my friend Ricardo. Once he gets here, we're gonna torque these things down. We already have the heads ready to go. We have the head gaskets ready to go, and this thing should make a decent amount of power. Head gaskets are now on. The cool thing about these head gaskets is the fact that you really can't mess them up. This one says front. Front is always facing the crank. We have both of them on, so now we're gonna throw the built heads on. As you can see, we currently have the heads on. We torqued one just to kind of memorize and familiarize ourselves with the torque sequences, because these things are kind of crazy hard to torque. Not crazy hard, but it takes a couple steps. It's not as simple as other vehicles where you just torque them to a certain foot-pound and you're done. This car takes a lot of different steps. For this specific head on the LS engine, the first step is actually torquing everything down to 22 foot-pounds. So the inner and the outer, leave the top ones alone. Those are the very last ones you touch. So step 1, let's torque the outer and the inner to 22 foot-pounds. It's a few days later, and I just want to give you guys a quick update. Through this whole video, we've been building a twin turbo 5.3, and here's your update. It's no longer here. This is a different one. This is a 4.8 that used to be inside of my truck. And inside of my truck, we now have the twin turbo. Let's kind of go over there. Twin turbo LS engine that you guys saw me build in front of you. So if we come down here, bam, we have the twin turbo LS 5.3 inside of the truck. So boys, we freaking did it. We put the engine in here, we put the turbo kit on here, we put all the accessories, well, we put some accessories on here, and from this point on, the mission now is going to be to build my 5.3 LS. Dude, we are getting close. This thing looks absolutely gnarly. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Like, dude,
We did everything in one single video, and from this point on, we're gonna keep building the 5.3, and that thing is gonna be turboed, and it's gonna be so freaking sick.